Hello, my friends. Happy September. Thank you again, as always, for staying part of the OnVoice community. This is September's accompanying guided video for the 7th issue of Embodied Everything, the monthly newsletter that I put out that includes tips and support around incorporating embodiment and embodied voice work into your daily life, bringing it into your leadership and your communication. And this month we are looking at how do we prepare the channel to speak from the heart. So very often in my space on the internet and in my materials that I put out, I really talk about how important it is to prepare the container, right? So to prepare our energy, our awareness, and the physical space that we're in, really to kind of contextualize ourselves in a way where we feel as grounded and present as possible so that our message can flow through that container with ease. But this month I wanted to go a little more micro into the technical aspects of building an embodied voice. And what I love about this particular approach that I'm going to share with you today is that it combines real supportive vocal technique with a little bit more energetic and somatic work and a real rooting in what I believe makes the voice so powerful. So there's a little philosophical stuff in there, there's a little mindset work in there as well, but we're also going to get technical with just a really supportive warm-up that is going to help you speak with confidence. So as I outlined in the blog post, there are 4 main pillars that to me are the foundations of an embodied voice. And the first one is, of course, the breath. Without the breath, first of all, we would not be living. The breath comes and goes on its own and works for us without us having to think about it day in and day out. But it is also such a powerful tool for downregulating the nervous system, calling on internal support. It is literally the thing that our sound moves on. So I think about the breath as this river that flows between the internal and external world and that carries our message on its back. So we really have to start to engage with and build a relationship with the breath. The second pillar is sensation, or you could look at it as the body. So the breath exists and moves inside of the body. So we're moving sort of outward a bit from very internal to the flesh, the bones, the muscles, and all of the subtle sensations that we experience as human beings inside of a body. So it's really important that when we're thinking about warming up our voice, we're also thinking about warming up and engaging with our body and more specifically, our awareness of sensation. So being able to really get curious about what's happening in the body. Not just that, oh, my body is here, but oh, I feel a little tingling or I feel a little warmth or a little cold. To really start to get more nuanced about how we're able to respond to and engage with the sensations that we feel as we move through the world. The third pillar is resonance. And this is really the idea of raw sound before it becomes language. So this is created through mechanisms in the body supported by the breath, right? So again, we're moving outward, outward, outward. So now we're going beyond the body and we're actually creating sound inside the body that can reach people and objects around us. And we know that as our vocal cords resonate and as we move air through and over the vocal cords, we create this raw vibration that really impacts the way we feel in our sensing body, in our breath, and it also changes the room. It literally moves the air. And so just remembering that resonance piece before we go into language is super important to engage with and build a relationship as well. And the final piece, which is something that I haven't gone into as much on my channels, but I'd like to start diving more into, is articulation. And this is where we get into the lips, the teeth, the tongue, and all of those things that we create words with, right? So without consonants, we wouldn't have words, right? So right? We have the raw sound, the resonance, and then we add the articulation, which is a really beautiful way to sort of think of motion, movement, flow, and then container structure. So the consonants, the articulators, are the structure, and the resonance, the vowels, are the moving energy. So all together with breath, body or sensation, resonance, and articulation, we are able to engage the foundational building blocks of an embodied voice. So I'm going to guide you through a short warm-up that touches on each of those pieces so that you can really engage your most embodied voice and walk away feeling confident sharing your message with the world. So we're going to begin by sitting, and you can find yourself perched comfortably, as I often instruct my community to do, on the edge of your seat. So find a place where you're feeling nice and centered. So let your feet kind of go out enough at a 90-degree angle from the knees so that you really feel sturdy, really stable. And the first thing I want you to do is just allow your eyes to drop down onto your feet. Make sure they're parallel and they're in a nice open position. You have space, you're not clenching in too much. And then just rock back into yourself a bit, feeling those two sit bones on the chair. And lastly, we'll place our hands on the legs, and you might just practice giving yourself a little reassurance through the hands as you place them down. So really feeling that sensation of, here I am. We're going to begin to engage the breath first by inhaling through the nose as we rock gently back on the sit bones, tucking the sacrum, tucking the pelvis just very subtly. So if you've ever done yoga cat-cow, it's going to be a little bit like that, but we're not doing a full flexion here. We're just doing a subtle rocking back and a tuck of the pelvis, and then coming back to upright. So the pelvis is really moving in this way on the chair. So try with me, and we'll start by inhaling as we rock back and exhaling as we rock forward, just noticing how engaging the breath in that way wakes up a new experience for us. Here we go. So inhaling as we rock back and exhaling as we rock forward. And you might try exhaling with your mouth in an ooh shape. Really allowing this to go slow and as subtle as possible for the most sensitivity. Let's try a couple more of those. Nice. And now we're going to expand that same idea of expansion and contraction, but through the hands. So we'll find those center points on the hands, and we'll expand through the hands as we inhale, and then exhale as we bring the hands back to center. You might even bring the hands all the way back to like a centering rope or rod in the middle, thinking of bringing the fists into center. And what we can do in doing that is use the breath to consolidate our energy and start to find some sense of confidence, sturdiness, and grounding. A couple more times, inhaling as we expand and exhaling as we contract. Last time. Nice. So now we're going to get rid of our seat. We're going to stand up, and we're going to start to engage with sensation in the body. I'm going to put this up so that I'm tall enough so you can see me. And we're going to start by bringing some what I would call gross sensation, not subtle sensation, but just direct sensation through the hands to the body. And we're going to start at the sacrum, which is our root chakra. And it's where we find a sense of security, safety, stability. So we're gonna really wake that up with a nice, strong tap. And then we're gonna move that tap down the legs. And back up, other side. And then up the side of the body. We can also breathe into this sensation a little bit, really stretching through those intercostal muscles. And then maybe one more time on the sacrum, letting your arms come up and then down. Nice. And I'd just like you to pause and take a moment to note what sensation you're aware of in the body, and also what maybe shifted, even if it's just a subtle thing. So now we've engaged breath and sensation. We're now going to move into some resonance. So we're going to do one of my favorite exercises from my teacher Nancy in grad school, Nancy Benjamin. She would always talk about hunting for vibration. So rather than woo, whoa, making big vocal noises, we're going to keep it really subtle, but we're going to actually look for the most dynamic vibration in the body. So we're going to move our hand around our chest and then over our face, and you can follow me as I do this, as we just lightly hum into the mask and throughout the resonators in the face. So you'll see what I mean as we go. I'm going to start with the chest. And what I'm really looking for here is how much vibration can I feel in my hand? So I'm not worrying about how I sound, but I'm actually concentrating on how much vibration can I create. And I'm going to experiment with that by just subtly shifting the placement of my raw sound in this hum. Keep on trying it out in the chest. And then you can move into the face. Maybe you can feel it through the jaw and the cheeks. All the way up into the skull. And you can experiment as you're noticing me do with pitch. And then we're going to just gently open from a hum into an ah. A couple of times, we're just going to let that ah fall down. So starting with sensation through the hand on your chest, we'll hum into an M and then into an ah. So watch me and then you can join in. Let's try it again. And just let it drop down. You don't have to hold it out for too long. One more time. And let out all that stale air. Nice. And finally, we are going to warm up the articulators. So we'll start with a lips wrapped around the teeth, exploding them out through a b. So b, b, starting with a b, 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 bo ba ba bo, boo ba ba boo, ba ba ba, bay bay bay, bee bee bee, bo bo bo, boo boo boo. Nice. And just take a minute to check back in with breath, sensation, the sensation of the lips, the awakeness inside the mouth. Now, let's move our tongue around inside the mouth, really stretching through the muscles of the face and the cheeks as we do this. Really warming up the mouth muscles. These are the articulators that are going to create our language. And repeat after me. Badiga, badiga, badiga. Patika, patika, patika. Badiga, patika, badiga, patika. Ba-digga, patika, ba-digga, patika. And now finally, we're gonna try to do a little lip trill. If you've never done this before, just have fun with it. We'll just blow through the lips. Good, and if that didn't go so well for you, you might try putting your fingers right next to your lips to help create a little tension there. You wanna have this kind of motion on the sides. And then just blow through the lips like a horse. And let's shake it out. Nice. So this was just a preliminary warm-up, but if you were to go through these 4 steps with these various different exercises at your own pace, engaging breath, engaging sensation, engaging resonance, and then engaging articulators, you would feel yourself much more prepared to show up, not only to be present and to take up space, which I'm really feeling right now, having kind of energized each of these pillars, but also just feeling really awake and ready to share a message, ready to form language, and just more energized. So I'd love to hear how this warm-up went for you, what you liked, what you didn't like, what was maybe a little confusing, and I'll look forward to sharing more about how we can warm up this instrument that we all carry around with us every day, because it is an instrument. And when we are being asked to, or asking of ourselves, to step into a bigger role and take up space and take up a leadership identity, we are asking our instrument to expand and to do something bigger than what we perhaps do on a daily basis. And so that's why it's so important to engage these 4 foundations of embodied voice. If you want to learn more, I am so excited to announce that I will once again be teaching Foundations of Embodied Voice this fall. And there's a link where you can register for the class or just learn more about it in the description below. Thank you so much for hanging with me, and I will see you for next month's issue of Embodied Everything. Take care.